This is a toolbox, like a space toolbox. I made it for an indie series called Space Trash. Jim, the writer-director, wanted something for the main mechanic, played by Tamara Chambers, and it's what she uses for fixing stuff. He was looking for something cool but beat up, basically something that was worth holding on to, but clearly has a bunch of miles behind it. The series took a little bit of time to get going. This was made back in 22, and I think it appears in episode 2, which as of right now isn't up yet, but the first episode is up, so go watch it.
So it's mostly made out of Sintra, just some 4x2 6mm sheets. I went through like 3.5 of them. It's almost all Sintra construction with a little bit of EVA thrown in there, some PVC for some of the couplers and stuff like that. This is just a food container for a head. The main work light, this is a work light. It's on some ball socket. Thank you, Adam Savage, for that. The main light and the doors are on a remote. Everything is powered by this 12-volt battery. It's got 12 volt on one side, the blue side, and then the red side is 5 volt out. They use 2 RF receiver transmitters, one for the light, one for the doors, and then the doors are on automatic locks on the inside. The external lights are for the lock lights, so that when the doors are up and locked, the lock lights are on, but when you open the doors, they go off. And here's the doors. Here's all the tools inside. My knee. There's a little video picture frame, and all these tools actually do stuff. We'll get to the other side. They actually do more on the other side. There's a little work light that looks like Yoda's lamp from Jiggle. Here's another arm-mounted battery so that you can actually take some of this stuff off and basically plug it into your arm. There's a big, huge mech hand, and there's a Mjolnir hammer on the other side. They get connected to this thing, which also lights up. I've taken to calling it a anti-grav generator because honestly, how else are you going to pick up an Uru hammerhead? Here's the locks. They are 12 volts. There's a scanner. It's just got a little 3-watt buzzer in there. Hammer, I'll show you in a second. That's on a 12-volt solenoid and a flashing unit. And then the welder. This is using an old Crystal Focus version 3 for the welding effects. Spare bottle for this thing right here. And of course the hammerhead. The light is on this ball socket stuff, and it screws into 3/4 inch PVC. I think it's standard 3/4 inch. And then it comes out here and then plugs into the other side. This lights up. Again, this is just a plastic food container. And then inside is a 3-watt LED and some cob that I just sort of cut up and made into the star pattern, but you can't even really tell because the Plastizote filter actually just obscures all that stuff. Some random hose coming out of it. I don't know what the hose other side connects to, but it's aluminum shower hose, so it's nice and strong, but it hooks up to this thing over here, which again I have no idea what it is, but it's something. It's actually reverse threaded, so I added these little symbols that said like, hey, turn it this way to screw it in, and then otherwise, you know, you wouldn't know, or you'd get confused or something. The door locks are pretty easy to engage. You can do it with one hand. And of course the lock lights, when it goes on, that means the door is locked. And then, whoops, when that one goes on, and they're both on, that means both doors are locked. So there is a manual release for the doors in case you don't want to use the remote. And it's got a little bezel and then thumb screws, so you got to really dig your finger in there to get it I originally had planned to do a big-ass arcade button, but then I realized that that was entirely too simple to accidentally bump it and stuff, so I made it a little bit more difficult to manage. Alright, well let's take some of these tools out so that you can see, by the way, that looks really cool. Take some of these tools out so that you can see them individually. The lights, or the light is dimmable from this thing right here. You can turn it off entirely too if you want. There's a couple of inputs, one for the welder on the other side, and then of course the main lock light. All the tools have these little Velcro retainers, and I've put a little tab on it so that you can quickly pull it out real quick. The inside lights, that's just a LED cob strip, and they work counterpoint to the lock lights, so that when the doors are locked, the main inside lights go out, and then the lock lights go on. So you can see the lock light went on, and the inside light went off after you turn the big light off. Yeah. The box itself has the kind of the outlines of the tools. I tried to make it a little bit subtle, kind of like, you know, prison tools, so that you know what tool goes where and whether or not it's missing. Yeah. They're labeled also, so the welder goes here, hammer goes here, scanner goes here. The remote bracelet, this goes around your wrist. It's just some EVA foam that I put some Velcro on, and then I put the Velcro on the back of the remotes also. These are the internally powered tools. Actually, this is just some EVA, but it makes sound for something to fidget with, but otherwise it's just a space-looking wrench. This is a flashlight, just the same as I do my wands. There's a little mirror tip there, so it's a little brighter than it ordinarily would be. Calling this a probe for some reason. I don't know what it's going to be used for. Here's a knife, or a lightsaber knife. There's an old drill body. There's a little 3-volt buzzer and some old Makoto Sai LEDs in there. I think I've been calling this a scanner or possibly an impact wrench. Again, we'll see what the show calls it. All the externally powered tools are over here, except for this. This is the Yoda light. This is the arm-mounted battery, so that, and then of course it's capable of powering both the 12-volt stuff, which like the hammer, and the 5-volt stuff, which will be the welder and all the other stuff. I went with the color coding it so that 12-volt is blue, 5-volt USB is red. I mean, the connectors kind of give it away too, but just for some more character building stuff. Let's look at the hammer first. Plugs into there. This is just a 12-volt solenoid and a flashing unit that you can control the speed of the flashing, and it's all wired together and controlled by this switch here. So I'm sure it'll be useful for something. The end of the shaft here is 1024 threading, which was pretty easy to work with, so I made a couple of extra heads. There's no heads over there. So it wasn't on record. Anyway, so there's a little shelf right here for the spare hammer heads. There's a little spike, and then an actual hammer, and then they just screw on because of the 1024 threading on it. So moving on. This is the welder. It's on a Crystal Focus version 3. Main activation is the brake handle right here. But the aux button is actually a connection point between the handle and this little brass plate right there. So it can give like a little bit more intense welding sound. This is a 3-watt LED that's coming out of some fiber optic and stuff, and it projects light pretty dang well. So if there was any welding that you needed to do, just hold it up to some like mirror or something, and it'll reflect all back to you. So there's also another aux button right here. So in case you wanted to use it somehow, there's a speaker cutoff right here. In case this is going to be used for filming, so if you don't want the sound, you can always use that. And then of course the dimmer, just some random lights because lights are cool. All right. The anti-grav hammer / mech hand. Oh, I need to reach. No activation or special stuff. It's just a direct drive of some 5-volt LED strip in the shaft here. Excuse me, I burped. It's using blue. This is the neon green tube that TCSS sells, so when the blue light is inside of it, it looks green. This is an alcohol bottle that I just glued some greeblies and stuff. There's my standby soy sauce bottle top. More Ghostbusters stickers. By the way, the stickers on the case, those are old Ghostbusters Proton Pack stickers. There's a couple here. It's being held on to the shaft using these 2 little thumb screws, and of course you can swap out the Mjolnir head. That's the foam one that I made for my Mjolnir. It works really well here, so yeah. So that's all the tools back in the case. The ball socket is in this neoprene sleeve. It's used for like wire management and stuff, but it fit perfectly on here, and it actually kind of muffles. You can't tell, but it kind of muffles the creaking of the neck. It's still not silent, obviously, but it's a little better. Plus, it kind of, keeps it in character without looking like a super earthly thing. So yeah, we'll, close the doors so we get the one last little demo. And boudoir! Yeah. Okay, see you later.